Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you all to Future You, Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insight. And I'm Kalyani, your host for today's webinar. So today our topic is careers in marketing, focusing on digital marketing. And this is the part one of the marketing series. So in this webinar, you'll find out about the role of a digital marketer, growth opportunities in this field, how to excel in digital marketing, job opportunities available, skills required, etc. So today for this session, our speaker is Akash Deep Saxena. He's a digital marketing strategist with Google India. He's an alumnus of MICA, Ahmedabad. Akash Deep has been with Google India for more than 6 years. And prior to that, he has worked as an account manager in digital media planning with the leading media company, Group M. Welcome, Akash Deep Saxena, and thank you so much for being here today for this session.
Thank you, Kalyani, for the lovely introduction. Really excited to be here, and I can see the number only growing.
So let's start with your career trajectory. Why and how did MICA happen? Was digital marketing always your primary goal when you decided to pursue a postgrad?
All right. That's an interesting story, actually, Kalyani. So I'll share a little bit of the background. So I started my preparation for MBA actually with IMS itself. That was way back in 2009 when I was doing my engineering in Lucknow. And I was, of course, like most of the people applying for ZAT and CAT and every other form. And MICA had a different form for their admission process. So I had to prepare for MICA separately. So I got to know about MICA from one of the teachers at faculty at IMS in Lucknow. And that is where my interest in advertising as a subject or advertising as a specialization for MBA grew. And that is where I started preparing specifically for MICA. So I joined a couple of Facebook groups, and Facebook groups for MBA preparation at that time were a new thing. 2009, 2010 was like the early age of Facebook in India. And I joined those groups and I was preparing specifically for MICA. And I did that for the first attempt that I couldn't get through. It was only the second attempt that I got through. And even in MICA, when I joined, I joined in the first year. And the second year, the specializations were not around digital marketing. There were no subjects around digital marketing. However, in the 1 year that I was moving from my first year to second year, MICA started a specialization in digital marketing. But my passion most of the time while joining MICA, while preparing for marketing as a specialization, was to end up being kind of an advertiser for TV, for newspaper, for the more commonly known as ATL media, which is above the line media. So I wanted to be in the sort of like the limelight of where the media is. Where I wanted to see my ads running on, let's say at that time, television, or see hoardings on the streets like normal people. But at that time, digital was growing like by leaps and bounds. And that's what we figured out in the second year, when a lot of people, like out of 160, 40 people took up digital marketing as a specialization. But I chose to not take up digital marketing because I wanted to, again, like I said, be in the traditional side of media. So that's what happened. And eventually I got placed in Group M from campus. Oh, by the way, before that, I worked with DDV Mudra as an intern for a couple of months in Mumbai. And that is where I was working on a BTL media. So DDV Mudra was actually an experience agency. So I was doing experience campaigns for Castrol, Star Plus at that time. And I was really excited to get, let's say, a PPO from DDV Mudra. I wanted to join the same company and continue in this similar field of work. But that, of course, didn't happen. And I got placed in Group M from campus. Group M is like one of the largest agencies, is part of the WPP group, the big four media houses in the world. And I was really, really excited to join Group M because I knew that Group M manages like the largest clients, largest budgets for TV and outdoor and news print as well. So, for example, like right now, even Airtel, Pepsi, you name it, Idea, all of these are like Group M clients. Yeah. Right. So I was really excited to join as a above the line or mainline media manager. But however, as luck may have it, I was given digital marketing division. So, and I specifically remember I mailed the HR mentioning that, can you move me to non-digital? I want to pursue my career in non-digital. However, that did not happen. They wanted to expand on the digital because, of course, Group M was probably ahead of the curve and they were already setting up the team, expanding their team in the digital space. So I joined the digital team. I learned digital there, started digital for the first time. I had not taken the specialization in MICA, like I mentioned. So I did not know the nitty-gritties of digital. So it was the very first time after I had joined my job at Group M that I started doing digital marketing. I started meeting clients, started pitching digital marketing to the clients. And this was a little bit away from what my passion till now was allowing me to do, but however, like as luck may have it, digital was growing. At that time, digital was 10% of a client's media spend. But in 1 year from 14, 15, or maybe let's say till 16, it used to become 20, 30% of the client's media spend. That is what my team was supposed to, like all of us were supposed to do. Go into a traditional client. And at that time, I was working with Honda City, Honda Cars India, Greater Noida, ITC Foods, Bangalore, Magic Bricks, Noida. So these were the companies we were working with, and we were trying to convince them to move a little bit of their budget from TV to, let's say, YouTube, or from print to, let's say, Google search. So those were the ideas. So that's where I started learning digital marketing, and eventually I got a call from Google, and of course Google had all the roles about digital marketing, and that's where I ended up being. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your role at as a digital marketing strategist at Google India.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I'll talk both the perspectives, the way I started at Google and also the things that I'm doing right now. So that will make more sense to the MBA aspirants in the room and the people who are aspiring to join digital marketing as a profession. So at Google, what we do based out of India is we support the globe. Like, of course, like most of the companies, if you talk about any IT company or any other consulting company, so they have their large bases in India because the headcount size in India will be much bigger. However, the real client might be sitting outside India. So same is with Google as well. So Google based in India is supporting Europe, America, and APAC, Japan, and all those countries. What we do is we get assigned a set of clients for which the sales team is sitting in market closer to the client. For example, let's take an example of Walmart. So Walmart has their headquarters in US, and they have their Walmarts.com headquarters in San Francisco. So we had a sales team sitting out of San Francisco, and I was sitting in Hyderabad. So my job was to work with the sales team to help them pitch better, to help them optimize the client's budget better. When I say about optimizing the client's budget better, let's take a step back and understand what does Walmart want from Google. Walmart wants that if you're searching for any object, like let's think from maybe Flipkart's or Amazon's perspective as well. When you're searching for anything, Walmart, Amazon, or Flipkart want to show an ad to you, and they want you to go to their website and buy that stuff. So for the benefit for a company like Walmart is that a customer is coming to Google search, then they're reaching Walmart's website, and they're going to buy something. Okay. And Walmart is ready to pay a certain amount of cut, a certain amount of payment to Google for those services, for bringing users to their website. Okay. Getting any traffic to the website. So our job is to make sure whatever Walmart is spending with Google as an investment on their media advertising, okay, they get an ROI in return of that. So let's say 1 click is equal to 5 rupees. But Walmart sells a shoe for 500 rupees and they make a margin of 100 rupees. Okay. So which means for 5 rupees of a click, they made a margin of 100 rupees. So the ROI is 20:1, right? So for Walmart, that is the ROI. So our job is to make sure the 5 rupee that Walmart is spending, how can they get 2 clicks out of the same 5 rupee? Or how can they make 150 rupees of margin instead of 100 rupees? Correct. Okay? So our job is to make Walmart's business goals achieved through our advertising. I just put it in a very layman term, but yeah, let's keep it to that for now.
Yeah. Okay. So, so let's talk about like what exactly is the role of a digital marketer in, say, not just in Google India, as a digital marketer. What exactly is the role? What does it encompass?
Sure. So there will be 2 aspects to a digital marketer role. So if you join a company, if you join a brand or a company which requires a digital marketer, so you are actually going to be in control of some budgets. You're going to be in control of 2 parts. One is the business or objective. Like I mentioned, for Walmart, the business objective would be to sell more objects through their website. Let's talk about a specific company. Maybe let's talk about Zomato. So Zomato's target would be to sell more food through their app. Okay, get more orders through their app. So their digital marketer's job would be to get more people to come to their app, install their app, and eventually buy from their app or order from their app, right? So as a digital marketing for Zomato, your job would be to talk to media houses, to talk to people who can help you achieve that goal. So Google is one such media house. Google is one such publisher. There could be Facebook, there could be Instagram, there could be LinkedIn, there could be Times of India where you see those ads. Okay. So as a marketing manager, digital marketing manager at Zomato, you will be talking to all these channels. However, it might become difficult for you to talk to all the channels together, in which case you will have an agency. You'll have a media agency who is kind of the intermediate between you and all these multiple media publishing houses, digital media houses, right? Like Google or Facebook. So because you don't understand the technicality of it, you're just a digital marketing manager who's trying to manage a business goal. And you don't know how to set up the account. So you'll go through an agency. The digital marketing team on the agency is the opposite of what you would do at Zomato. Okay. So you would now become a partner for Zomato, and you would procure the budgets from Zomato, but you would help Zomato spend those budgets with, let's say, Times of India, with Google, to achieve those goals. So when you are with an agency like GroupM or any other agency, you are helping Zomato to spend that budget to achieve that goal. So at times, the marketing manager will be in control of multiple agencies as well, because Google might be with some other agency, Facebook might be with some other agency, you might be working for TV media on IPL from some other agency. So a digital marketing manager might be working with multiple people. Let's say for Hotstar, you are advertising on Hotstar. Again, digital media. Hotstar might be through a different agency. Hotstar could have their own digital marketing specialist, which is helping you. Okay. Coming one step further, at Google also, if I'm a digital marketer, Google has employed a lot of people to directly work with the clients. For example, Google is trying to say that you don't need an agency. You can directly come to Google as a Zomato, and we'll be able to give you a person who is an employee of Google who will be your digital marketing manager. So it solves for two problems. You don't need to probably employ a specific digital marketing manager in your company at Zomato, because you might have a marketing team which does everything, but you don't need somebody specifically for Google, because Google has that competency. Google knows that stuff in and out, so they can help you. Second, you don't need an agency now, because Google is giving you that service directly. You don't need to pay a cut to let's say a GroupM. Okay, so you're shortening the value chain for you. You're saving some money as well, and also like that will expedite your campaign. So that's kind of the sphere or the space where a digital marketing professional will operate. Could be with a brand like Zomato, could be with an agency like GroupM, or could be with the publisher or the media house like Google or Facebook.
Okay. So so now that if there is a question about Mica, some people would like to know about Mica. So can you please give us details of Mica?
Details of Mica.
Yeah, as in maybe you can talk about a little bit about your journey to Mica, as in the kind of interviews and all that, and how that kind of shaped your career.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, like every other traditional MBA aspirant, my only goal was to get into like a tier 1 college. Okay. And like I was very specific about that. I will join a college which has a marketing specialization, or they're known for their marketing placements. At that time, I remember that Narsi Monji, IMT Ghaziabad, Mica, these were the names that were on the top. However, for Mica, what was different is that once I got to know about advertising as a specialization that only Mica offered at that time, I don't recall that any other college had advertising as a specialization. So most of the colleges would have finance, they would have operations, they would have HR, and they would have marketing. Okay, so these are the core specializations that most other traditional MBA would offer. Mica was a specifically marketing college. They did not have finance, HR, or operations. They only offered marketing super specialization. So at that time, it was brand management, account management, media management, and data analytics, marketing analytics. So those were the four when I had started preparing. And I was really excited to join as either a brand manager specialization or in account planning. Account planning is what we do at agency. Brand manager is what we do at Zomato, just to clarify. So the two specializations that I kept. And media is what you do as a similar to what we do at GroupM, but you are kind of in the buying and selling part of media. You are the intermediate between the media houses and the brands. And those were the specializations at that time. And the fourth was marketing analytics. I was not really excited about number crunching at that time. I was decent at DI, but I was not really excited about number crunching. So when I started preparing for Mica, the new things that I had to do at that time was the entrance at Mica that time had a different set of questions. And also there's this thing called psychometric test that Mica used to have at that time. And to be honest, in 2012, not a lot of people, 2011, not a lot of people were aware of what the psychometric test is comprising of. So that is where the Facebook group that I was talking about came into picture. And we found a lot of passionate people who wanted to prepare for MICA. They were able to source a lot of psychometric tests from outside India. A lot of universities used to do it outside India, the psychometric analysis and things like that. So we found a lot of tests and understood there were these correlation questions. So we found a couple of psychometric analysis tests and we started practicing. And there was this correlation questions as well, like A is to B and then what C is to D. So I don't recall any examples right now. So we started specifically preparing for MICA at that time. Also, the post-written process for MICA was slightly different. There used to be a group exercise instead of a GD or a case study at that time, and which was, I think, very unique. No other college used to have the group exercise at that time. And to be honest, again, there was no information available at that time about what the group exercise is, and I was not able to reach out to the right people. At that time, I remember that at IMS, luckily, we used to have these PD sort of classes, personality development back in Lucknow. And I was lucky to be part of those classes. We used to do these kind of role plays or skits in the class. And that was really, really helpful, I would say, at IMS to prepare for the group exercise. The group exercise is actually you're given kind of a task and you put in a group of 6 people and you have to either enact the task or you have to put it on a chart paper, kind of a presentation or a slide that you have to create in the room itself. So that was a very unique experience. Nobody had done that. However, I would say something that helped me, I was really active during my engineering days with College Fest and such like extracurricular activities. So I used to do a lot of pitching. I used to go to different colleges and pitch for our fest and organize a lot of events and do poster design and advertising in the college itself, like in Lucknow. So that is where I think a little bit of that helped me breaking the ice with the group exercise sort of setup. And the second part, of course, was the personal interview where I had 3 panelists at that time. And I remember that it was kind of a very enjoyable interview. I'm not sure if they do it even now, like the enjoyable part of it, because I've heard they did a couple of stress interviews as well in some MBA colleges. But MICA interview for me was kind of a breeze. They asked me really fun questions, like on my CV, it mentioned that I do creative writing. I used to write for a website at that time, content writing at that time. And they asked me, do you read anything? Because you write so much, like you write for so many vlogs and everything. And I mentioned I haven't read much books in my life except for Chetan Bhagat books. And they also burst into laughter at that time. So I was earnest enough to mention that I have not read much books, and I clearly remember that that did not deter them from eventually selecting me for MICA, and that actually like reinforced my trust in I'm joining the right kind of college. The kind of sentiment that I have for this college, probably they have for their students as well, or their aspirations as well. So that's where MICA got converted, and
So if you compare your work and your role at Group M vis-a-vis Google India, how different it is?
Sure. See, any agency works on a cut model or a commission model. So agency's job is, like I said, to outsource some part of a brand's work, which they don't want to do in-house. Because they might either not have the specialism to do that, the competency to do that, or might not have the headcount to do that. Or that requirement might be temporary. So that is the basis of outsourcing in every business, right? If you talk about IT like TCS, or if you talk about agency, or if you talk about any, like if you want to get your house painted, so you don't learn painting and start doing it, or you don't hire a full-time person to paint your house.
Correct.
You get a vendor to do it. In the same manner, an agency's job is to become a vendor for a client like Zomato and tell them, okay, you got a new launch, Zomato Gold is launching. Okay, I'll help you with this 1 month of launch. Okay, this is your budget, 1 crore rupees. Okay, I'll reach out to Google, Facebook, Times of India, Hotstar, every other website that you want to advertise with. Let's say you want to advertise on TV also. You want to advertise on Sony. You want to advertise on Dainik Bhaskar. So I'll reach out to all of them. I'll talk to all of them. I'll get the media space for you. You want front page, I'll get you front page. You want the masthead, you want the video ad on YouTube, I'll get you all that. Okay. Just give me 1 crore and maybe there's some commission in that. I'll spend all of that 1 crore and I'll reach your business goals. And the business goal could be for Zomato, orders, app installs, or eventual ROI, like I was mentioning in the case of Walmart example. Okay. So as an agency person, you are working with not just Zomato. You might be working with Zomato as well as Honda cars. You might be working with Panasonic or Apple at the same time. So you will have multiple clients and multiple publishers, multiple clients and multiple media houses. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
please speak a little Hindi.
Yes, I just read that.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, अरे हिंदी बोलने में
हाँ.
कोई मेरे को बिल्कुल कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बस बाकी just because
Exactly,
to make
yeah.
it
Correct.
generic and universal is why I was
Yes,
speaking
yeah.
in English.
Hmm.
But मैं हिंदी में बोल सकता हूँ. I will do the Q&A in Hindi for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if there are any questions that you have, I think from Galaxy, yeah. If you have any questions that you would like our speaker to answer, he'll answer it in Hindi. Okay. Yeah, so you can just type it in Hindi. I can read it.
आप हिंदी में लिख दो, I will keep it parked and I will get
Correct.
to them. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
media company में जब काम करते हो तो you are talking about multiple companies that you are servicing, and also
Right.
you're talking to multiple media houses, okay,
Hmm.
to get the media bought for them.
Correct. Yeah.
The difference in working with GroupM versus working in Google is that Google is only one media house.
Okay.
Which means that when I was working in GroupM, my job is to know little about many things.
Okay.
But when I'm working with Google, my job is to know everything about one thing.
Okay.
I need to go deeper. So Google has employed, let's say, 10 people for Google search for Walmart.
Okay.
All the 10 people are working on Google search, which is only one Google ad product apart from Google YouTube ads or Google shopping ads or display banner ads that you see on any other website. So there are 10 people working on one product in Google for one client. So I have gone now deeper. So Google में मेरा काम क्या है कि I need to build relationship with the client at a level that they trust Google as a partner. Right. Okay, they need to. It's not about only spending more money. If they are getting more value, they'll anyway spend more money. Right. So, for example, Amazon is also a big client for Google. Even though you will, if you see from a third-person perspective, you'll be like Google, Amazon competitor, या Google, Facebook competitor है. But even Facebook will advertise on Google. Even Amazon will advertise on Google because Google is able to give them business in return. Okay. It's about business. So my job is to help any one or two clients at Google, big clients at Google, like Walmart and Amazon, to achieve their business goals. But at GroupM or any agency, I might be working with 4 clients. I might be working with 8 media houses for those 4 clients, creating the media plan. Okay, आपका IPL के time पे launch हो रहा है. Let's say we talk about Cred. Let's say Cred was doing the IPL campaigns. Okay, so Cred was advertising on Hotstar also, on YouTube ads also, at the same time on TV ads also. Okay. So the agency that Cred must have hired, they were talking to multiple people. Okay, and that the person will only not be working on Cred because Cred आज है कल नहीं है. Cred का आज budget है. Maybe they are established now. They don't want to spend. So it's not going to be like I'm working on Cred for all my life. Correct. So अगले महीने हो सकता है कि let's say Maruti is launching a new car. So I'm working on that new launch now. Okay. So agency life is much more fast-paced, much more fragmented, much more, I would say, exciting, but at the same time unstructured. Like there's not a lot of structure in an agency kind of space. So if you are starting off your career, I would say agency is a great place to start. A lot of people will say, and that's almost true, that agencies don't pay well. However, if you are in your early 20s, right out of your graduation or right out of your MBA, couple of years with agency will give you a lot of space to cover, a lot of area, a lot of relationship to build with many clients and many publisher houses. And to be honest, I have those relationships that I built in 1 year, even today. Like my LinkedIn is full with people from 20 different digital media houses or maybe 10 different brands that I was working with, and those people have now reached different companies, and I have that relationship with them. So media agency is a great place to start if we want to learn. Okay. I'm not saying that Google or Amazon or Facebook, if you join as a digital marketing, you will not learn, but that learning will be much deeper than broader. It's always better to start wider. Okay. Yeah. So since we are talking about, how exactly and where exactly one should start. So a few years in digital marketing, what does that do for your career? As in, what is the next step? As in from entry level, if you can just take us through to the senior level, how is the progression? Say in a firm like Google, is the growth progression very different in, say, in some other brand? Not like an agency, but some maybe a company like a FMCG brand or some other company where you are working as a digital. I'll try to simplify the answer for this. Yes, yeah. Eventually, for most digital marketing professions, once you become a senior or a mid-senior level, let's say you start off as a digital marketing strategist. So you're working with a couple of clients based in India or US, and you're helping them achieve their business goals like a Walmart or Amazon. Right. When you become a senior, then eventually your job will be to the skill sets will more so be closer to the value chain. Okay, let's
Okay.
maybe revisit this. Okay.
Okay.
So when you are working for Amazon or Walmart based out of India, so your job is only one. Like there's a one goal that you have been given for, let's say, 6 months or 1 year, to help Amazon or Walmart achieve their business goal by improving their sales through Google. So they spend 100 rupees on Google, they should get 500 rupees through business. Okay. But when you become a senior, okay, there could be two things. You either become a subject matter expert, okay, which means that you will go deeper into the product. Now you're not just thinking about how to make 100 rupees 500. You're thinking of how can Amazon increase their footprint in India or in some other market where they might not have expanded. What are the challenges when Amazon advertises with Google? For example, the language of the ad. Is it global? Is it appealing to everybody? The length of the video ad, let's say, is it interesting enough? Is it retaining enough audience? So now what you've done is you're doing everything the same, but you've gone deeper. You've fragmented your approach to the problem by going deeper as a subject matter expert. The second aspect is, let's say you try to become a people manager or a manager in a company like Google. So now you have a set of digital marketing strategists that will report to you. And your job as a people manager or a manager of this set of digital marketing strategists would be to be the stakeholder manager for the client. So now you used to talk to the client's marketing manager, the digital marketing manager who is giving you the money to spend. You might start talking to the marketing head or to the C-level people when you become senior at Google, because you're not strategizing with them. So you will go in the boardroom with the client. You will be talking to the client about what are the new inventions that Google is doing. What are the new kind of products that Google is creating in let's say marketing space or digital marketing. YouTube ads, for example, you might have all seen this new thing called shorts, YouTube short videos.
Yes, yeah.
Those are like you can just scroll like Instagram or Facebook and you can see those ads. Okay, so that's the future. For example, as a manager, my manager would go to an Amazon and say, do you want to advertise on shorts? That's the future, because you might have seen that on Instagram and Facebook already. You scroll and you see some video ads. So do you want to do that on YouTube? Because YouTube has this kind of reach. It has 1 billion people using it every day and things like that. Yeah. So my job will be to package that, okay, and pitch. So eventually, as senior, you will get closer to the value chain. And by value chain, I mean where the money is generated or where the money is coming from.
Okay. So let's take some questions. How a role of DMS is different from account manager or campaign manager in Google India?
Actually, the campaign manager role is almost the same as the digital marketing strategist role. The name has been changed in the last couple of years. I joined as a campaign manager, and right now I have proceeded a little further away from the digital marketing strategist role. So I manage a set of digital marketing strategists from a third-party vendor, which Google has employed for servicing our clients based in Europe. But the roles are pretty similar. But if you compare to agency, like I mentioned, in agency, you might be working with multiple brands. You might be working with multiple publishing houses. In agency, you're not bound to only work on Google as a platform. You might be working on Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, or Hotstar ads. Okay. But in Google, as a digital marketing strategist or a campaign manager, you will obviously be working on Google's products. And now in the last 1 or 2 years, what we have done at Google also is we have broken down our strategy into products. Like there will be a Google search specialist, there will be a Google video specialist, there will be a Google app specialist, and there might be a Google display specialist, and so on. So we are going deeper. Like I was mentioning, over time, we have started to go deeper with our product cuts.
So there's a question about, can we reach brand communications roles after graduating from IIMs if we don't get into MICA? I've heard from IIMs, marketing roles are more about number crunching and analytics rather than communications. I'm currently working with a PR agency.
All right, there are two things I would like to mention. First thing is number crunching doesn't end. There's no end to it. Sorry to say. Sorry to break the thought there, but number crunching is going to be there for life. In any role that you join, be it the most basic role at an agency, as an even intern, as a digital marketing strategist at Google, as a marketing manager at Zomato, or as a brand manager at HUL from IIMs or MICA or any other college. Numbers will be around you. So if you are preparing for your MBA, if you're good with DI, it's going to be a big advantage for you for all your life. And to be honest, there's no stopping to learning the quantitative skills. Like a lot of people, I'm pretty sure in the group, are good with VLOOKUP, Excel, using formulas with Excel. A lot of people are not. You will become either good at it or you will find a way to do it. You will find people in your team to get it done, but there's no running away from numbers. You'll always be around numbers. And when Kalyan, you mentioned about being a brand communication strategist, that's slightly a different path altogether. But if you are in marketing space, if you have been given a budget to spend, there is some senior team which will ask for the ROI on it. Okay. When there's money coming into you as a marketing manager, as a digital marketing manager, or as a TV marketing manager, or as any sort of communication marketing manager or media marketing manager, if the money is being spent, there's somebody who's gonna ask an ROI question to you. What did you do with that money? What did we get in return? There's always gonna be number in and number out.
Okay. How do you see digital marketing trends in future, considering the regulations and laws that are getting stricter about data privacy?
See, there are two ways to see it. If I see it from an industry specialist point of view, so there's no stopping to digital marketing or in general digital. If you look at the way our screen usage or our 4G depth in India has increased in the last 4 years, ever since Jio came into the picture, you can only see like there's no strata of the society which is untouched by 4G now, which is a great thing to have. Okay. So given the size of our market, if I only talk about India, we are 140 crore people now. Okay. And you can only guess how many people are using a smartphone or a 4G connection, not maybe more than 40-50 crore people. So we have already 80 crore people who are there. Let's say even 50 crore people, if people who are above the age of 12 or 14 who can be consumers of digital media. So we have one US, the size of US as a country, which is 40 crore population, remaining to go. Okay. So the future is anyway digital. The future is online. The future is on a screen. You guys are all staring at your screens right now. That is the future. Okay. And given COVID, fortunately or unfortunately, it has only grown. Like Zoom as an app, nobody knew about it a couple of years back. All of us are highly dependent on Zoom all over. Okay. I can say the same for all of Google services now. We can all say that for Zomato and Swiggy now. We can't live without ordering food being at home. Okay. So the future is digital. The future is not offline. Okay.
Correct.
Eventually, there's this term we use in our world called omni-channel. Omni-channel means for any company operating in both on ground as well as online. Okay. Let's take an example of I'm sure everybody might have seen this Nykaa stores as well.
Yeah.
All around you. So Nykaa is a website, but they also have stores.
But
they are into an omni-channel model.
Right.
So Nykaa is present in a mall in let's say
they have got like shops as well.
Shops and kiosks,
standalone shops.
Standalone shops as well, right? But at the same time, they are big on online and they're going to have an IPO very soon as well. So they're into omni-channel business. So they understand the value of being on ground, having an eye presence for people who are tier 3, let's say, who are not exposed to digital. So they want to capture that audience, but at the same time, probably 70-80% of the volume and sales is coming from online. And they're okay with that. There are companies like Myntra who are only online. So they understand that all. And by the way, Myntra and Flipkart together had more sales than Amazon last year in India. So you can only imagine the presence that Flipkart and Myntra have built over the last few years. So digital is there to stay. With the data regulations as well, I'll be... let me take a stab at it. We all think that there's too much data privacy issues happening, or there's so much my phone is listening to me, or I don't know how this ad came up right now. To be honest, you will never be able to figure it out because the way data trends, or we call them signals, are structured, that there is some digital footprint or pattern that you're leaving behind you by being on Facebook or Instagram, or by doing activity in general that you will not realize. And those signals will combine to target you. To give you an example, if you see an ad for Audi, okay, but if you only drive a Honda City, the reason is because you visited the Honda City showroom or the service center recently. Okay, and you had your location on.
Right.
Okay. So they know that you have a Honda car or a Toyota car, and you visited the service center. Okay, you might have an issue with your car. Maybe you are looking to upgrade your car. Then you might see an Audi ad, and then you like, how does it know? This keeps happening. So these are small signals which keep building around. So data privacy and personalization will go hand in hand.
Okay.
So because you keep getting such personalized information on your feed or on Google, you can just
Correct.
simply talk to Google Assistant or Siri and get
Mm.
personalized information. Okay. So personalization and data privacy are kind of like an anti-force, but they will coexist.
Okay. So tell us like how to start in this particular field, as in, through internship. Is that the best way to get into digital marketing? As in, after MICA or maybe after an MBA, you get into an internship, or I mean, how exactly, where to start as a digital marketer? And if there is something that, they can do before a
Sure.
postgrad as well, and which can kind of help them to build it up.
So for the first part, I think, to be honest, choosing careers in India is not a thing. Like most of the times the career chooses you, because placements in campus happen by luck.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Most of the placement in campus will not be by your control. You will be just randomly applying to most of the companies which you've heard about. In fact, at times you have not heard about also, because you are desperate to get placed. When you've put in 20 lakh rupees for an MBA, you want to come out with the job. So that is why most of the times the career or the job or the profile will choose you rather than the other way around. But what can you do to be prepared already for digital marketing? If you just simply go to Google and search for Google Ads certification, you'll see a couple of links. This link called Skill Exceed Skills sort of a link, which is free certification for all. So there are different type of free certifications available for Google Ads. Skillshop. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Swati. Yeah. So you can go through those free certifications for Google, go through the free certifications for Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads. In fact, Microsoft ads, though Microsoft ads is not that popular anymore, but there are free certifications for all of this. So I always recommend everybody who wants to ask me, should I do the Udemy course, or what is it? What are the other websites which have the paid courses these days? Coursera and things like that. So I always say, if you want to upgrade, thank you, Rakesh. So in case you want to give it a try, at least go to the free certifications. Coursera, I've already mentioned HubSpot, anything, So if you want to give it a try, go to any of these free certifications, give it a shot, give the first 2-3 attempts, see if you're getting interested about the terminology, the language they're using, the data metrics they're using. So if you don't find CPA, CTR, CPC, cost per revenue, things like this interesting, probably digital marketing is not for you. You're not cut out for it. You don't want to force yourself into it. And then you will put in money on Coursera or Upgrad or Udemy, and then you'll be like, okay, now I'm stuck. I want to do this and I want to become a digital marketing manager. Give it a shot for free. If you like it, please go ahead and maybe do the paid courses as well with any of the apps that we were discussing. So that's what I would recommend everybody. However, even if you're not interested right now, like I mentioned, the future is digital, give it a shot. Definitely give it a shot, the free ones for Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you find for free, do it. Okay, assess your understanding or your interest for digital marketing, so that you're able to at least isolate yourself whether you want to move in that direction or not. Okay, like I mentioned, numbers are not going to stop. You're always going to be around numbers, be it digital marketing or non-digital marketing. So it's ऐसा नहीं है कि digital marketing है तो digits होंगे और non-digital है तो नहीं होंगे. Non-digital marketing में भी अगर आपको 1 crore दिया जाएगा spend करने के लिए, तो 10 crores का उसमें value या 5 crore का उसमें value आपको देना पड़ेगा. Most of the startups right now who are spending, like Cred, like all the new Practo, PharmEasy, Zomato, Swiggy, all of these were in losses for many years, and everybody knows that, right? All of these were spending a lot of money, but they were making losses. That is where the challenge comes. Abhi aap losses pe operate kar rahe ho, you're spending on media. Tomorrow the answer is, if your sales starts growing, okay, then only your job makes sense as a digital marketing manager or a marketing manager. Okay. If the company is not making sales in 1 year or 2 years from now, what's the job of a marketing manager? What will you spend on? What will you get in return?
Right. When you're talking about, say, a digital marketing, like a career growth progression in a firm like Google, is the growth progression very different in a FMCG brand or in some other brand or in some other firm, or is it same? As in,
no, it's not same. In fact, see, the thing with digital marketing companies right now, there are very few digital marketing giants. So I'm again taking the name of the same three. Let's say maybe make it 4 with Microsoft and LinkedIn. So we have Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft LinkedIn.
Hmm.
the same companies. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these companies have their own way of setting the standard. Okay. Because they're huge and they have, like Google is a 200 billion company right now. Facebook is a 100 billion company. Amazon is a 250 billion company. Microsoft is a 150 billion company. So all of them have their own way of setting up their ecosystem. And I forgot to mention Apple as well. I should mention Apple as well. So these are such big companies. They have their own way of structuring their companies or structuring their operations and how they want to fragment client servicing and things like that. However, if you talk about FMCG, these have all been there for hundreds of years. Like Unilever has been there for 100 years, or P&G has been there for 100 years, or Nestle, and things like that. Okay. So in FMCG companies, most of them are into traditional way of servicing.
Okay.
You'll mostly join as a management trainee. Then you'll become an associate brand manager, and you might become a brand manager in a couple of years. Okay. So that's the trajectory in an FMCG company. And if you join on the marketing side, you'll be an associate marketing manager and then a marketing manager. And then you might be specializing into one sort of marketing, digital or TV or Hotstar or news or activations or on-ground experiences. Okay. So what you see in malls, Unilever is putting up a camp that is on ground. You see on digital. So you could become a specialist in a certain type of marketing, which is slightly different from how it would be in a company like Google or Facebook. And like I already mentioned, Google and Facebook might have their own way of setting up the ecosystem or the industry standard because there's not many. Okay. And the agencies have again a different way of doing it. You would join as a account planning management training. Then in 1 year, you would become a client key accounts manager. So you have a certain set of accounts that you will manage, then eventually you become a client leader. So you are now talking on to the client on a strategic level.
Right. So who should ideally get into digital marketing? What are the skill sets that are required and the kind of aptitude that helps in this field? So can you talk about say maybe, give 3 hard skills and 3 soft skills that are required that must be there to excel in digital marketing?
All right. Soft skill wise, I think the standard MBA soft skills are pretty much there. So I always talk about having your communication up to the mark, which will include your knowledge, like knowledge of the content that you're speaking about. So that is why doing the free courses will help all of you. So going through the free courses will give you a knowledge of the basis of terminology that is used in the industry. So that is communication will be up because your content is so much better now. Okay. All of you should practice public speaking or being able to pitch. So I would say that is another skill. If you have a chance, if you're right now in college, if you're able to be part of these committees or extracurricular activities, please do that. Please be part of GDs or mock PIs or things like that. That will bring up the speaker in you. That is really important to be able to convince. Okay. And the third is, I would say, maybe stakeholder management or relationship management.
Okay.
So in a corporate setup anyway, that is required all over the world. I would not say that is specific to digital marketing, but definitely being able to manage subordinates as well as people who are much higher to you in levels. You might need to convince somebody about giving money to you. That is not easy. Okay. So building that stakeholder or relationship management over the years will be helpful. So right now, again, I would say the same. If you get a chance to do internships, please do that. Okay. Try to get into paid or unpaid internships because that will really expose you to the reality of the market. That will put you in the spot. And it's so much better to be in the spot before going to the real world. Okay. If you're getting time, couple of months, do an online internship, do an on-ground internship with a brand, known brand, unknown brand. Like probably do the hard work right now, I would say, and that will break the myths for you, bring the reality closer to you. I think hard skill wise, like I already mentioned many times, it's good to be good with numbers for sure. Okay. The second thing, the hard skill I would think is understand the industry landscape. So there are so many sources about it. I'll maybe name a few, like LiveMint, ET, Brand Equity. There's this website called I Follow Track.in. and there are multiple YouTube videos now. Like I follow a couple of channels for digital marketing. So you should all keep going through such content all at the same time. So this is where you build your industry understanding. So when I talk about cred, it should automatically come into your mind. Okay, I'm talking about the cred campaign. Or if I talk about Zomato, it should automatically come to you. What was the last big thing that Zomato did? Like their IPO happened, or before that they were doing those COVID-related campaigns. Their own founder was on television. So you should always know about the industry or the brands, okay, so that you're able to talk about these examples when you're talking to anybody in an interview or a public setup, okay? So those are the key skills I would say everybody should keep on working. So these are not the hard and fast, but you should always keep your mind open towards knowing about the brands and their strategies. Always maybe think about, discuss with your friends about, pick up any brand, talk about, let's say Apple. What is the new marketing strategy that Apple is using? Recently, they launched an ad. Everybody might have seen that Apple screen doesn't break easily. So they did this ad very recently about the phone falls but doesn't break. Okay. So what is Apple trying to show here? That Apple, in India, people are skeptical about buying Apple because they know that the screen, if it breaks, will cost you 50,000 rupees to fix. So that's kind of a deterrent for people to buy Apple phones in India. So now they are selling the idea that Apple phones don't break that easily. It's okay. You can buy, you can put in the 60,000 rupees. You might be putting in the money, but you don't have to put it again and again. So that's their selling point. So Apple is like deviating from their premiumness into entering the Indian tier 2 market now. Okay, that please buy an Apple iPhone. It's worth it. Okay.
Right.
And again, about the privacy thing, they're always talking about their privacy. That's iPhone and things like that. So that's the idea that Apple is selling. Okay, so you should be aware of what the idea that Apple is selling. Will that influence another company to come, like a Samsung, to come up with an ad which is a competitor ad for them? Pepsi and Coke used to do that in late 90s and early 2000s all the time. So you should be aware of this happening in the market, especially with the new kind of e-commerce companies like Amazon's, the Creds, the Practos, the Farmeasies, the new age companies, Swiggy's. You should be aware of what they are doing.
What kind of questions are usually asked during the interviews for a digital marketer position, as in you, for that matter, you know, the kind of questions were asked to you when you were being hired by Google India? Yeah. If you can just share.
Sure. So I do interviews for Google, like I've been doing for a couple of years now.
Okay.
So the questions are broken into 3 buckets, I would say. So the first and foremost is the role related knowledge. So the role that you're applying for, how much you understand about the role. And that is where, again, those free certifications, that understanding of terminology or understanding of the industry landscape in general will help you frame your answers. So having role related knowledge, that we call RRK, okay, is important. Okay. Second part is leadership, or like I was giving you examples about being able to pitch, being able to manage your relationship with your seniors or subordinates, or stakeholder management. So that is called leadership. So they will ask you of situational questions, that you were in a situation where you were not able to convince somebody, or they were not convinced by the pitch or the idea that you were selling. How did you go about it? How did you modify the answer or the pitch? How do you come back with a different perspective to the pitch? That's called leadership. And the third is cognitive ability. So cognitive ability means your normal sense of the world, your normal, how would I put it? Sort of like general awareness. Are you able to think quickly about a very difficult problem or a very weird or a vague problem, and then able to form a perspective or form a structure around it? Okay. So that's cognitive ability. For example, if I tell you that you have to go from A point to B point, okay, and then you have to figure out how do you have to go. What's going to be the more? Let's say you land in London for the first time, okay, and you have to go from London to Buckingham Palace, and you don't know. So you will use your cognitive ability to figure out: do I need to take a taxi? But the taxi is very costly. Should I take the metro? But I don't know where the metro is. Is the metro walkable distance, or do I need to take a bus to reach to the metro station? So you are cognitively thinking the optimized best way of saving money, saving time, but reaching from point A to point B.
Okay.
I think that's the most basic example I could give, but I hope it makes sense.
Okay. I have there's a question. I have joined as a media planning intern at Group M's Wavemaker. Could you throw some light on the career path?
I hope you get a PPO, Rakesh. Then things are all sorted. But as of now, I just hope that you make the most of the internship. Like try to be part of as many pitches as possible. Be an active contributor to the pitches or to the strategy sessions that you must be already having. Sorry. Yeah, and as a career path, I think, like I mentioned in the previous half, try to gather as much experience talking to the clients or talking to the publishers, build those relationships in the first 1 or 2 years if you end up joining Group M, and that will lay the land for you, lay the path for you for the future.
Okay. How about what about SEOs and SEM? What kind of a career path they should follow? SEM specialist.
See, SEM is what digital marketing strategist job is. Okay, so SEM means the search engine marketing, or SEM is now a very niche term, I would say, because you're talking about only search engine marketing.
Correct.
How about YouTube marketing? How about when you search on YouTube and you see ad? How about you search on Amazon and you see ad? Have you all seen Amazon sponsored post? All I've seen promoted by Amazon or sponsored by Amazon.
Correct.
So you're not just talking about search anymore. The search engine marketing is now transformed into digital marketing. Okay. The second part is the SEO, which is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is meant to save money for the company, because when you're searching for Apple iPhone 12, you should not be seeing an ad for Apple iPhone 12 because they know you are searching for Apple iPhone 12. So there's no point of showing you an ad and spending 5 rupees extra. Okay. So that is optimizing your search engine in a way that the top link is apple.com or Apple India website. Okay. The same goes for Samsung. If they want to show an ad on Apple search, when you're searching for Apple, Samsung wants to spend money. So that is search engine marketing. What Samsung must be doing. That why are you looking for Apple iPhone 12? You can buy a Galaxy 21 now.
Right.
So they are ready to spend 10 rupees above 5 rupees. Okay. So that they can trump Apple's search result on Google search page. Okay.
How much does work experience play a role in digital marketing? How does it impact freshers?
To be honest, it's a new industry. Like I don't think digital marketing is older than what, 5, 6, 7 years maybe. Yeah. So it's not fair to be asking a lot of work experience. Most people have less than 7 years of work experience. So you should not be bothered by if you don't have experience. But yes, having a basic understanding of digital marketing, and if you've done a couple of internships, that will be really helpful to set up the place for you. And again, I think in any industry, not just in digital marketing, relationships and knowing people in the industry will really be helpful. So maybe try to keep building onto your network through LinkedIn, through joining any internships. If you're able to join such places like where webinars are happening for digital marketing, you'll get to meet people and know about them. So that will be really useful.
Can you share a challenging situation that you faced as a digital marketing strategist at Google?
I think the most challenge I faced was when I had only joined, because like I mentioned, when I came from the agency setup, the agencies were working on multiple clients and multiple publishers. And at Google, the expectation was to know the product in and out. So I think the first challenge I had was about understanding the product. So your understanding of the product at Group M was not like from A to Z. But at Google, I was supposed to know Google Ads as a platform or as a product from A to Z. Okay, so the greatest challenge was moving from a more unstructured place like an agency setup into a highly structured, highly efficient, or highly competitive at the same time, because you can only imagine most of the people when I joined my company, that was also a challenge because the team I joined, so everybody was from like the top tier colleges, graduation and MBAs, IIM, ISB. IIT, IIM, and so on. So I was not from a top tier graduation. I did my engineering from UPT in Lucknow, and I did my MBA from, again, a tier 2 college. I'll be honest, MICA is not really a tier 1 from my perspective. It's a great college, but it's a tier 2 college in India. So I had kind of a bit of a complex when I joined the team that, okay, everybody is from a crazy top tier background. So I had a little bit of difficulty in convincing myself, okay, it's not it's not easy to convince oneself when you have that kind of confidence level issues. I also had that in when I had joined Google in the very first year.
Right. Yeah. So okay. So can you tell us a little bit about so we are almost towards the end of the session. So if you can just share, like maybe, a few tips to build your profile to excel in this field. Basically, what are the few things that our MBA aspirants can keep in mind to prepare themselves from now in order to, build their profile and be prepared if they are planning to pursue digital marketing?
I think
As a
again,
career path.
similar to answers, Kalyani, do the free
Yeah.
courses. If you get really excited about it, do the paid courses as well, but definitely do the free courses. And the second is try to grab an internship in marketing in general. I would not even say digital marketing. If you join even as a marketing intern, you will understand digital marketing.
Yeah.
There's no company right now, probably think of it, which would be a company which is not doing digital marketing.
Okay.
Right now, even companies which are aiming to reach the last leg of Indian society, they will have apps like Barkat Bazaar or what is that app? Bachat Bazaar, I'm not sure, which is about having a online khata book. There's this app called Khata Book, sorry. So Khata Book is meant for people who don't know how to use Excel or don't have a laptop with them or an accountant in their office. They might be like small jewelers. We all have seen them sitting in our hometowns.
Correct.
So Khata Books for them to arrange the digital dukaan. Exactly. Companies like this. There is Udaan, Pagar Book. See, people are already aware of it. So these are the companies which are not digital. So imagine, can you think of a company which is not thinking digital? There is no company which is not thinking digital. So if you join as even a marketing intern, you'll end up learning something about digital. But if you join as a digital marketing intern, nothing like it. So don't maybe limit yourself when you're looking for internships. Definitely join. And in fact, to be honest, if you're not joining marketing intern also, if you're joining as an operations intern, or a sales intern, it is also fine. You need to understand the landscape. So at this stage in your career, if you're just starting off, don't be very choosy about it. Give it a shot. You might end up liking something else. I'm not here to sell digital marketing. I'm here to tell you what it could end up looking like if you end up in digital marketing. But at the same time, it's not a hard and fast. You might like operations more than digital marketing. You might like sales more than digital marketing. You might be a person who loves negotiating and selling and talking to people, which is okay, which is completely fine.
So that's all we have time for today. And before we wrap up, I would like to thank all our attendees, and my special thanks to Akashdeep Saxena. Thank you so much for being here and giving us insightful information on digital marketing.
Thank you so much, Kalyani and IMS, for hosting. I think I really had a great time.